Good morning, everyone. I would like to request the academicians, please take us front seats. I would like to request all the academic staff to take the front seats, please. Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to Tech Saga Series 2024, Day 3. We are here to dive into the exciting world of emerging technologies, innovation, and knowledge at the vibrant Global Gujarat Trade Show. Join us as we explore new technologies, learn from startups, and hear inspiring stories of success. Let's kick off the exchange of ideas and celebrate the brilliance of technology together. Our first guest speaker for the day is Mr. K Arunachalam. Mr. Arunachalam is the Regional Director for South Asia at Cambridge English Language Assessment UK. He played a key role in establishing the South Asia office in 2005. An alumnus of Loyola College, Chennai, he holds management qualifications from Loyola Institute of Business Administration and Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata. Today, he is going to deliver a session on innovate, lead, and succeed with the effective communication. Mr. Arunachalam, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that warm introduction. Good morning. I know it's a very busy day for all of you. Thank you very much for taking time out. Over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to share some thoughts. But instead of me talking to you all, I would rather prefer if we can make it slightly interactive. So a show of hands, how many of you are college students? Please raise your hand. Okay, all the college students are sitting behind. How many of you are administrators, educators? Okay. All the educators are sitting in front and the college students are sitting at the back. So we will try and this session is very interesting that way because it's open to everyone. Okay, it's a common theme. How can we innovate, lead, and be successful? Who doesn't want to be successful? Is there anyone here who doesn't want to be successful? Okay, and there is no template for if you do A plus B plus C, you will be successful. Is there any straightforward formula? I'm asking the students there. Is there a formula to be successful? Yes or no? Yes or no? I'm not hearing any answer. For some of them, a formula might work. You study so many hours a day, you do a project, you do volunteering, you lead on events in your campus, so many things. You add all of that, you build skills in your campus, and you can be successful in your future career. But for some of them, it may not work. They may suddenly get a spark of inspiration. They may want to do a new idea. They may have a startup idea. They may be successful with that. So today I'm going to take you through some of those and share a key concept called communication in all our success. I think you can take all successful people that we know. Can you name some 3 successful people according to you? Can I ask the students? Name 3 successful people who you think are successful. Who according to you are most successful? Maybe I should ask the educators. Who do you think according to you are successful people in your eyes? Some names. Bill Gates, okay. Anyone else you think is successful? Yes, Shri Narendra Modi ji, yes. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. So there are different people, a scientist, a politician, a technologist. You can name anyone, okay. What is common amongst all of them? One key skill. As I told you, to be successful, you need many things. But for all successful people, there is one key ingredient. What is that ingredient? That ingredient is they are all master communicators. They can communicate their ideas. They can influence people. Okay, if they speak to you, you get enamored by them. You get inspired by them. That is why one of the key ingredients to be successful is good communication skills. I'm representing University of Cambridge. How many of you here have heard of University of Cambridge? Show of hands. Okay, some of you have heard of University of Cambridge. University of Cambridge is one of the top rated universities in the world. We are more than 800 years old. So sometimes when you think of it, what makes Cambridge different is that every decade, every century, the university reinvents itself. We are not comfortable that, oh, we were very good then. 15th century we were very good. 19th century we are very good. No. We do not rely on our past laurels. Are we good today? Will we be good tomorrow? Will we be good in the 22nd century? That is what is driving us. That is what is making us very different to all other institutions. So one of the departments of Cambridge is a department on English language learning and assessment. I started by asking you questions. One key ingredient of being successful is good communication skills. You can be good in Gujarati, you can be good in Tamil, you can be good in Telugu, English, all skills. Just because you know English, okay, does not make you a successful communicator. Okay? Today I'm talking to you. Some of you, I can see the students sitting at the back. You may not be that comfortable in English. Okay? At the end of my 30 minutes, if I have not given you a new idea, if I have not sparked an imagination, I may be standing in front speaking flawless English. Okay? Some of the teachers here might think my English is good, great, but am I a successful communicator? No. Okay, if I am speaking, some of you walk away from this room. What does that mean? It means my message is not reaching you. You're not finding it interesting. You're not finding it engaging. You're not finding it entertaining. Okay? So, key aspect of communication to hold someone's idea, someone's thought, is that it should be engaging, it should be entertaining, and it should be interactive. Without that, it's like your college lecture. How many of you love to listen to your college lectures? None of us. I went to good institutions. I never enjoyed sitting through classes because someone just sits in front and gives you a lecture. Nothing much to learn from that. You need to be really engaged and involved. So from Cambridge, what we are trying to do is create an environment where we can provide students, teachers, an opportunity to be successful in using English language communication as a tool. Okay, a quick question. Sorry, I'm trying to make it interactive because or else it's a lot of theory. In any language, in your mother tongue, what is the first skill that we all learnt in our mother tongue? What skill we learn first? Yes? You were saying something? Listening. Wonderful. A big round of applause. Thank you very much. As a baby, as a child, the first thing we do is we hear sounds. We try and mimic. So listening is the first skill. What is the second skill that we develop as a child? Speaking. Absolutely right. We listen, we mimic, we learn to speak the same, and that is how we build speaking. If your mother tongue is Gujarati, you first pick up listening in Gujarati, speaking in Gujarati. So whatever you listen first, that is the first skill of speaking you pick up. Okay? So listening is the easiest skill, any language, followed by speaking. Third, what is the skill that we build? When we go to school, we learn that it's a skill of reading. First, we try to read. We know each letter, what it means. And the fourth skill, the highest form of any language, is writing. Okay? Why do you think all the literary works are given importance? Is because in any language, literature forms the highest part of eminence. We want to support that. But let me say, in Gujarati, all of you are good, fluent in speaking and listening. You can all write and read. When I turn it to English, in this audience, What do you think is your most comfortable skill? What are you all comfortable? As a student, what are you comfortable with? All of us write exams. By default, all of us can write. Can you please raise your hand if you all written exams in English? Can you please, and paper in English, can you please raise your hand? Okay, you all have written. Can you all read English? What is that you find difficult? Listening and speaking. Why? Because in any language I've just given you that the easiest skill is listening and speaking, but suddenly when it comes to English, it becomes challenging. We have built skills of writing and reading. Speaking, we are all struggling. Why? I'll just kind of quickly get into that. And communication is not just about reading, writing, listening, speaking. Today I can also stand behind, I can read out a lecture. Will you find it interesting? No. Body language is another very important aspect of communication. With COVID and all of that, everyone started using virtual communication. So we all use Teams or Zoom, virtual communication on the phone. Body language lost a little bit of importance. But right now, most of us are now traveling for work. You can see here, people really value the energy that you bring in, the passion that you bring in. All of that is possible with your body language. So to be a successful communicator, other than listening, reading, writing, and speaking skills, you should also develop skills of positive body language. So I'm going to paint 3 scenarios where you think communication skills, especially English, is going to help you all. The first scenario is when you are in a college. Why did we all join college? 2 purposes, maybe 3 purposes. One is our parents and us, we want a job. We think by joining a college, I would get some campus placements, I will get a job. That is one aspect, fine with that. Second is, I want to gain knowledge. I want to do higher education. You join a college so that you can learn more. And the third one is, you want to start your own business. You are looking at college as a starting point to kind of give you some knowledge, some skills that you can use to build and form your own startup. Yes? Now I'm going to give you a difference between knowledge and a skill. I can see a lot of those people in front who are a bit more older. How many of you here have ridden a bicycle in the last 1 month? Those in front. Okay? 3, 4 of you, 5 of you have ridden a bicycle. How many of you have ridden a bicycle when you were a child? So many, almost all of you have ridden a bicycle. Today, if I give you a bicycle here, okay? Do you think those who have not ridden a bicycle in the last 1, 2, 3 years, do you think they'll be able to ride the bicycle? Yes or no? Yes? Why? If I ask you a question in your 12th board exam, will you remember that right now? In your college, something happened. If I ask you a question, will you remember that? Something happened last week. If I ask you a question, will you remember that right now? No. What is happening here? What's the difference? What is happening here is that a riding or a swimming, we have learnt it as a skill. We have built muscular memory. It is ingrained in our subconscious. At any time we want to recall it, we can get it in front. Sometimes people are very nervous about an interview and all of that. We tell them, do a practice interview, mock interview. Why? Because you do that, you build your skill. Tomorrow you are asked to come into an interview, you are confident you can deliver. But knowledge, what you get in college, classrooms, what you watch on a video, a YouTube video and all of that, you all think that is helping you. By watching a video on how to swim, do you think you will all learn swimming? No. Unless you jump into the swimming pool, you're not going to learn. So you might get knowledge in your classrooms. How to do this, how things work. Great. But that will not build a skill. Unless you dirty your hands, unless you practice, you're not going to develop. So there may be programs on communication skills. Okay? If you just attend the lecture, sit in the class and attend a lecture, and if you think you will become good in English, do you think you will become good in English communication? No. You will have to practice. Okay, are you all with me on that? Sorry about that. I've got a little bit of a bad throat. So now let's move on to the scenario of a campus placement. Do you think all big companies will come into your colleges to recruit for campuses? Do you think they will all come to your campuses? No. Each company will have their own criteria. They have the criteria in terms of what language level you should be in. By default, will your college offer students at that level? Is there confidence? Because they're not going to come all the way to your campus to recruit only 2 students. They want a bunch of students that they need to recruit. So they need to have confidence that there are multiple students that can be recruited. And the final thing is, it's not just that they're looking for English language communication. It's also about your attitude, your teamwork, your leadership skills, and your subject knowledge. Are you good at all of that? Only then a campus placements happen. But if you are a good communicator, you have good confidence, great body language, you are able to communicate with positive intent, the chances of you securing that campus, succeeding that campus placements is 8 out of 10. So what we are trying to say is that in the start I told you there are processes to be followed, ingredients for success. One of the key ingredients is English language communication as a skill, not a knowledge. You need not know the theory of grammar and vocabulary and all of that. It's of no use. How can you use it practically to be successful? That's more important. So real life, say there are multiple students here. There may be students from rural Gujarat as well. There are students from Ahmedabad. Everyone thinks only campus placements happens for Ahmedabad-based colleges and all of that. No. Companies are looking for good talent. If there is a way we can showcase good talent to all these recruiters, they will come everywhere. So how do we ensure that even rural students have the right knowledge and the right skills of communication? That is something Cambridge can really help you out. So don't think that, oh, I'm from a village, I'm from a small town, I may not have the skills. These are solutions easily available. There are now AI tools available for you to practice speaking. There are students who are a bit quiet, who are not outgoing. Even for them, there are tools available to practice. So what we are trying to show is that not only you are from a good convent school, you are good in English. No, every student across the board can acquire English as a skill and they can be successful. So the focus should not just be on their English, but on their domain skills. That's something that we would want to move to. And we share hiring highlights with employers. End of this month, we are doing a large HR conference where we're going to invite about 40 to 50 companies who are going to recruit from Gujarat. They will be sharing information with universities to say what kind of skills they want. So for every job, okay, for a job of an IT consultant is very different to a job of an MBA graduate who is joining as a manager, to a job of someone who has done a BSc or BCom joining in a BPO, to someone who is joining a vocational institute, joining travel, tourism, hospitality or healthcare. Each of these jobs require different skills. Not everyone needs the same level of language skills. Each job is different. What we are trying to do is democratize it so everyone has an opportunity. You might think I am weak in this skill, but we are trying to say even for that level, there are jobs available for you. The second area is that now I think in Gujarat I think with this Vibrant Gujarat I've been tracking, there's so much of ideas on entrepreneurship. Everyone wants to do their own idea, build their idea, showcase it to their world. What we are trying to build on is, even for entrepreneurship, if you have the skill of English language communication, the chances of you succeeding is wonderful. Why? Because we will help you to build a good business plan. We will help you to make a PPT stack. And most importantly, we can help you build your skills so that you can communicate to influence. In a startup, what you're trying to do? Your idea, you're trying not to sell your idea, no. You're trying to inspire someone with your idea so they can join you. So you require higher order communication skills to influence someone. So those are the skills that you can employ when you want to do a startup. So Cambridge has deployed programs on development of entrepreneurship, but in that case, you're also developing your English language skills. Because tomorrow, if there is an English program, I'm sorry, we partner with the government of Gujarat, there are a lot of English trainers here. But across the world, if you there is an English class, if the student is walking by, he will think, I know English, I don't want to go to this class. By default, everyone thinks that that program is not for me, it's for someone else. They all think this is a negative class. So what we want to turn it around to say, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, if you want to be successful in campus placements, take the skill program. This is not an English program. This is a communication skills program. That is what we are trying to recommend. And finally, some of our programs in higher education are offered in English. Even now, I'm sure educators will tell you, many of our students, when it comes to an exam, all of us, what do? We memorize definitions. We memorize paragraphs. We write that in the examination. Right or wrong? How many of us still memorize and write for our examination? Please raise your hand. Nobody in Gujarat memorizes. You all understand concepts and you all write it in your own language. No, it doesn't happen like that. So it's a coping mechanism. We all blame the children saying that, oh, they are memorizing, rote learning. No, it's a coping mechanism. What do students want? They want to pass an exam. The easiest way from point A to point B to pass an exam is memorize. The difficult way is understand all concepts, apply that concepts. That's a difficult part. Why students in India, not just Gujarat, across India, memorize is that in higher education, their mother tongue is not English. The medium of instruction technically is supposed to be English. They don't understand many of these concepts. If they understand in their mother tongue, they can easily write. Unfortunately, they don't. So what do? Easiest way is to memorize it. What we are trying to do is change that. Instead of reading about Shakespeare and all of that, we don't recommend that. You build functional skills so that you can enhance your learning skills in English. Say if your subject is computer science, if your subject is commerce, how can you build English language learning skills to enhance your understanding? So you don't have to memorize anything, you understand concepts. I gave you an example of cycling or swimming. Whenever you want to use English, you can use English as a skill. Is there anyone here who went for a training program on how to use a mobile phone? Is there anyone here who underwent a training program on how to use a mobile phone? No. Why? It's an intuitive skill. If you practice it, you learn by doing it. Unfortunately, when it comes to communication as a skill, we don't want to do it. We want a teacher, we want notes, we want them to do it for you. We don't do anything. If you do not practice, your teacher cannot demonstrate their skills. You need to do that yourselves. And the last example I was trying to give you is you want to be a scholar. You want to do higher education. You want to study in Gujarat. You want to go overseas right now. A lot of international campuses are coming to Gujarat as well. If you want to excel in academics again, one of the key skills that you need is developing your English language communication skills. Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. I think Cambridge is also the reason why we have really created a monster called IELTS. Have you all heard of a test called IELTS? It's created by Cambridge. It was meant to be a diagnostic test, but what it has done is, a diagnostic test means it will showcase your current level of English. Okay, today what is your English skill? The test is supposed to show. Say today you're going for a blood test. Will you do an exercise? Do you run 10 kilometers before you give a blood test? No. Why? Because it is supposed to identify your current inherent skill. But as I came from the airport to here, I saw at least 10 to 15 boards of IELTS, PTE and all of that. You cannot learn for a diagnostic test. You cannot prepare for a diagnostic. You can be oriented towards a diagnostic test. You need to build your fundamental skills so that tomorrow you give any test, IELTS or any other English test, you will do well. But if you do not have that inherent skill, any test you will need support. Then you will try the test, you will fail the test. Then what happens? There is a popular Hindi movie that has come in as well, where if you fail an English test, you're desperate to go overseas. Then you take means of something that is illegal and unethical. But what we try and tell is that it's easily possible to acquire in the most easiest way, listening, reading, writing, speaking skills. Only thing is that if it is taught as an academic subject, there is no way you build that. If it is taught as a skill, all of us can easily build those. So what can Cambridge do? We do a lot of work across the world. We bring in certain processes where it becomes transparent. people can know what is the level they are today, what is the level they are moving tomorrow in the future, how has training helped them, and finally, with that level, can they get a job, can they get admission? All these processes, we try and make it very transparent. Two, because we have set these levels for students, we also set levels for teachers. Who can teach? What should be their skills? I do not there are a lot of English language teachers in India who may even have a PhD in English literature. They may know about Shakespeare and all of that. I don't want to comment on that, but I'll give you an example. You all heard of a scientist called Isaac Newton. Fortunately, he was a scientist who was teaching in Cambridge. Okay? Do you know his class has an audience of just maximum or recorded audience of Isaac Newton is 3. Because Newton may be a great scientist, but he's not a good teacher. Nobody understood what he was teaching in class, so students walked away from his class. So just because you are a PhD holder and all of that, you may hold something in literature, does not make you a good trainer of communication skills. So there are different set of skills required to be a trainer. So I will stop there to kind of tell you that we need to support trainers in India, because currently the method is grammar translation. That was for the last century. Our students have moved to the next century. We need newer skills to teach them. How do we support our teachers to use some of these modern tools? Okay, there are now AI tools available, chat GPT is available, so many things are available. As a teacher, how do you use this in your classroom? You cannot stop your student from doing it. You give them an activity, write an essay. I'm sure your student is going to chat GPT, copy that essay and give it to you. Okay, is that the skill you want? No. How do you want to develop your student skills in this environment where writing is easily available? Okay, these are all skills that teachers will need. And finally, this is the level. Okay, if you are new to English language, you start at level pre-A1. Tomorrow you want to learn French, you start at pre-A1. Tomorrow you want to learn German, you start at pre-A1, where you learn the alphabets. From that stage onwards, you build the skills. At level C1, C2 is almost like a native speaker. Okay, at that level, you are equivalent to a native speaker. Say, if I have C1 or C2 in Gujarati, then I can communicate like all of you. Presently, I am at level pre-A1. I need to learn. So if I want to reach C1, C2, do you think I can reach that level in 1 week, 2 days, 10 days, 20 days? How long do you think it will take? Any thought? It takes about 200 hours of learning to go from one level to another. From pre-A1 to A1 is 200, A1 to A2 is 200. Like that, it's a 7-level scale. To master Gujarati, I will need 7 into 2,400 hours of learning. But what do we all think? We just think English is a crash course. Send them for 2 days program, they will learn. Why a crash course will not work in communication is that, I gave you an example, unless you practice, just by watching a video, watching a teacher, you will not learn. Are you doing an activity? Are you doing a task? If you do that task, you learn from that. So what we are trying to democratize everyone is that expectation for a student, expectation of a parent. Cambridge also, we affiliate a lot of international schools here. Again, we have created another monster. I've seen children with pre-primary kids. The parents come and say, can my child speak fluent English? This is a 4-year-old, 5-year-old child. The parent expectation is just because the child is going to a good school, they will speak amazing English. No, even for them, it takes 1,400 hours for everyone. The only thing is that maybe a school like that can accelerate, provide a lot of environment for them to learn that 200 hours within a year. Sometimes you might say, oh, government school, they may not learn English. No, we have evidence. In fact, we work, I'll share a case study. In Maharashtra, we worked with a Marathi medium school. We've done a study, we trained the teacher, trained the student, provided them the right learning resource. We have provided evidence that the student of a Marathi medium school, the Vile Parle Tilak Vidyalayas, are exactly equivalent. The 8-year-old's English is equivalent to a Dhirubhai Ambani school, which is one of the top international schools. So there is no difference. Just because you go to a different school doesn't mean that you get better English skills. It all depends on the faculty. It depends on the learning resource that you use. It depends on the pedagogy that you use. So if you use it, even a government school student can acquire those skills. So we help right from designing curriculum, supporting learning, supporting assessment, supporting teacher development. And what we believe in something called as complete English. It's not enough if you just do a test. I have a certificate. A certificate doesn't mean anything. A certificate only says that you can do certain things. You need to be worthy of that certificate. You need to go through an intervention. How do we really support that intervention? That is going to be really important. And how can you certify your success? As a school student, you are from remote part, and maybe Junagadh or somewhere else in Gujarat. An employer is coming to recruit, say, 25 students. How will we choose which are the 25 students in Gujarat I should recruit? Currently, there is no data. Which are the best communicating students of Gujarat? There is no data. We can work, currently we work with the government to create that database so employers can have easy access. Likewise, universities can have easy access to identify what is the best talent. So from a rural college, if a student is the best in Gujarat, it will motivate everyone to showcase that this is not an elite skill. This is not a skill I only acquire in Ahmedabad or Rajkot or Baroda or Surat. Even in a smaller village or a small town, I can acquire these skills. So Lingua Skill and Upskill are the certification that we offer in India, globally offered but very popular in India. And we offer a bunch of learning solutions. We don't believe one size fits all. So every context you need different learning tool. Some of it is print-led, some of it is digital, some of it is fully digital. There are AI tools available right now. There are some fantastic tools. I'll show you some tools that you can use. For speaking, there is a website, you can note it down, called speakandimprove.com. Speakandimprove.com.org. Go there. If you speak, it will give you feedback. It is not like your Microsoft tool where it will tell you the error. Actually, it will tell you contextually your grammar, your vocabulary, your fluency, your interactive communication and discourse management. It will tell you how you can improve your speaking skills. Write and Improve is another free tool where today if you write, it will tell you what will be your score. How good are you in your writing? So there are a lot of free tools available, so you can utilize all of them to use it. So why I'm sharing this is that for students, you don't need to wait for your teacher to come and teach you how to do it. You can learn yourself. Okay? In communication, there are two kinds of skills. There is something called as a receptive skill. There is something called as a productive skill. A receptive skill is reading and listening. The more I read, the more I listen, the better I become. Why your parents tell you read a newspaper, attend this, watch this and all of that. Your teachers tell you to do it. Why? Because the more you read, the more you listen, the better you become. But for writing and speaking, more is not good. Because you may be making a lot of mistakes. Even now in adult life, you will continue to make the same mistake that you're making in school. So in writing and speaking, the productive skill, the most important thing is error correction. The teacher's role is to find the error, correct them. I may be making a mistake in pronunciation. I may be making a mistake in vocabulary. I may be making a mistake in grammatical structure. If my teacher is able to correct it, I will become better. If my friend will tell you when you're speaking in a classroom to say, no, brother, this is wrong. You should change it. I think that's what we take feedback. We all correct it. So writing and speaking, we improve by error correction. Listening and reading, we improve by doing more. Teacher's role is important. Self-practice is important. You have now AI tools to give you that feedback for writing and speaking. So in Gujarat, we partner with the Society for Creation of Opportunities through Proficiency in English. I had the honor and the privilege to start this program. When our Honorable Prime Minister was the Chief Minister, we started this program where there were certain goals set and the Gujarat government achieved those goals. But what has happened in that in the last intervening, say 12, 15 years, the demography of Gujarat has changed. What students want today is very different to what they wanted 10 years back. So we need to re-evaluate what students want. How can we make them successful today? Today everyone's got a smartphone. Everyone's on WhatsApp, on Snapchat. Maybe the older ones are on Facebook. The younger ones are not on Facebook. The younger ones probably are on Instagram. So they have moved. Many of the social media that they consume is in English. So they are all very confident users right now. They need different kinds of input. They do not need the 20th century model of input. So we need to change. So we support that. We work with a lot of key universities in Gujarat to support employability, and we work with many schools in Gujarat. But what we want to do is that break this myth that English is an elite skill, Cambridge is an elite university. No, what we want to do is Cambridge can be available for everyone. English is a common skill, like numeracy, like IT skills. Everyone can have that. So that's what we are trying to do is make it demographically available to everyone, break down the barriers of learning, and showcase successful models from rural Gujarat to showcase that they will be successful in their life. Let us not deny an opportunity. There should not be anyone in Gujarat who will not succeed in a campus placement because his English skills were poor. No. Maybe if his domain knowledge is poor, that's a different thing. His application of knowledge was different, it's different. But for want of English language skills, we don't want the youth of today to lose out on any opportunity. That's a commitment to the government and to the students here. And finally, with that, I close this long interaction. I tried to be interactive, but I think it's very difficult to do this in the large group. Any questions that you have before we close down this session? We can pass around the mic if you want.
Any questions, please?
Sure, I've just told them yes. So what I will want to say is that Cambridge has been the assessment partner for Scope. It's a fantastic program. As I told you, it's a modern program to build your skills. We are not looking at building your knowledge. There are some good learning resources being used. Trainers of good quality trained by Cambridge will be deployed to train and build these skills. And finally, there will be a certification from Cambridge that will help you to succeed in life, either to get a job, feel good about yourself, feel confident, or to go overseas or to want to join higher education, it will help you. So the opportunity to support or join the program from Scope is available. I think the government has done its best to make the program available. It is for students to make that opportunity. I told you, if there is an English class if an English class is happening in your college, will you walk inside or you walk past? Many of us walk past that program. Watch out for the Scope program in your institution. I would encourage you all, don't think this is an English program. Think of it as a communication program for your success. Communication program that will make you a leader. A communication program that will make you successful in your life. So next time you see this program, walk into that program. There are some pamphlets of Scope being distributed. Please do take advantage of that. We'll now pass around the mic if there is some time for some questions.
Hello. Yeah, is there any questions from the audience, please? Thank you very much, sir, for these enlightening sessions.
I'll just have one last word to make, because
sure.
I've spoken to you for 45 minutes right now. At the end of a session, if there are no questions, it only means two things. One, you understood every word of what I've spoken. Or two, everything that I've spoken is gone over you. So I hope it's the former. Thank you very much.
So we encourage our audience to ask some questions, because there is nothing like in 45 minutes, everyone understands everything. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
તમારામાંથી કેટલા લોકોએ સ્કોપની એક્ઝામ આપી છે? આપી છે કોઈએ? કઈ કોલેજ છે તમારી? કઈ કોલેજમાંથી તમે લોકો આવ્યા છો? કોઈ એક જણ બોલો.
સુરત જિલ્લા કાછલ કોલેજ.
બીજી કોઈ કોલેજ છે? બહેનોમાંથી કોઈ? તો એનો મતલબ એમ છે કે સરે જે કીધું એ સમજાણું તમને બધાને કે ન સમજાણું? સરે બે વસ્તુ કીધી, કાં બધું સમજાઈ ગયું ને કાં બધું ઉપરથી ગયું, બરાબર ને? એટલે ઉપરથી તો નથી ગયું એવું માનું છું, પણ તમને બધાને એક રિક્વેસ્ટ છે. ફેકલ્ટીઝ છે આ લોકોની સાથે? કોલેજના ફેકલ્ટી કોણ છે? આગળ આવો. બીજા કોઈ છે ફેકલ્ટી? તમારે સ્કોપનું ઇનિશિયેટિવ ચાલે છે? તો કેટલા વિદ્યાર્થીઓ એક્ઝામ આપી હતી લાસ્ટ યર?
Last time 35.
હે
35.
35. તો અત્યારે જે સરે વાત કરી કે જનરલી ગુજરાતીમાં તમે લોકો 12મા ધોરણ સુધી ભણ્યા હશો, કદાચ આર્ટ્સ કોમર્સમાં પણ ગુજરાતી મીડિયમમાં તમે હશો, અને આપણે બધા આપણી માતૃભાષાને તો આપણે પૂરું માન સન્માન આપવાનું જ છે. એવું ન થવું જોઈએ કે ઇંગ્લિશ મીડિયમમાં ભણીએ એટલે આપણને ગુજરાતી ન આવડતું હોય. આજે એવું પણ છે, તમે મોટા શહેરોમાં જઈએ તો થ્રુ આઉટ ઇંગ્લિશ મીડિયમમાં ભણ્યા હોય તો એને ગુજરાતી પેપર વાંચતા ન આવડતું હોય. પણ મારો પોતાનો અનુભવ હું તમને કહું કે 1991માં ઘણી જે ગુજરાત બહારની કંપનીઓ હતી તો એ લોકો ગુજરાતના વિદ્યાર્થીઓ ઓછા સિલેક્ટ થાય એના માટે ગ્રુપ ડિસ્કશન અને ઇંગ્લિશ પ્રોફિશિયન્સીને વધારે માર્ક આપતા હતા. તમે રિટર્ન ટેસ્ટમાં 90 માર્ક મેળવ્યા હોય પણ ગ્રુપ ડિસ્કશનમાં તમારા ઓછા માર્ક આવે તો તમારું સિલેક્શન ન થાય. તો એના માટે પણ ભલે જેને ફોરેન જવું છે એના માટે તો આ કોર્સ બહુ સારો છે, પણ આપણે ઇન્ટરવ્યૂમાં સારું પરફોર્મ કરી શકીએ અને ક્યાંય આપણા ગુજરાતના વિદ્યાર્થીઓ ઇંગ્લિશ પ્રોફિશન્સીમાં પાછા ન પડે એના માટેનો આ આપણે આખો પ્રયત્ન છે. 2008થી 7-8થી આપણા હાલના વડાપ્રધાન અને જે તે સમયના માનનીય મુખ્યમંત્રી નરેન્દ્ર મોદી સાહેબે આ શરૂઆત કરેલી હતી. ટૂંક સમયમાં આપણે કદાચ આની ટ્રેનિંગ પણ તમારે ત્યાં અપાય એવું પણ આપણે શરૂ કરવા જઈ રહ્યા છીએ. તો આજે મારી આપ સૌને એક જ અપીલ છે કે અહીંયા બેઠેલા તમામ વિદ્યાર્થીઓ, આજે ધારો કે લિંગ્વાસ્ટિક તમારે એક્ઝામ આપવી હોય તો માત્ર 400 રૂપિયાની ફી છે. તમે થોડી એડવાન્સ એક્ઝામ આપવા માગતા હો તો માત્ર 1900. હવે આ બીજા ખર્ચમાં કાપ મૂકીને પણ આ એક્ઝામ તમે આપો. અને અત્યારે એવું કહેવાય છે કે 21st સેન્ચુરી ઇઝ ધ સેન્ચુરી ઓફ ધ નોલેજ. જો તમારી પાસે નોલેજ હશે, તમારી પાસે સ્કિલ હશે, તમારી પાસે એબિલિટી હશે તો તમને કોઈ નોકરી મેળવતા અટકાવી નહીં શકે. આજે લોકો એમ કહે છે ને કે મને નોકરી નથી મળતી, તો સામે કંપનીવાળા એવું કહે છે કે અમને સ્કિલવાળા એબિલિટીવાળા સ્ટુડન્ટ નથી મળતા. તો મારી આપ સૌને વિનંતી કે આપ સૌ આ જે કાંઈ નોલેજ છે એ બીજાને પણ આપજો અને વધુમાં વધુ વિદ્યાર્થીઓ આપણા આ એક્ઝામ્સ આપે, એની તૈયારી કરે. ઓનલાઈન પણ બધું અવેલેબલ છે અને ઓફલાઈન પણ અમે કોલેજમાં આવી અને ટૂંક સમયમાં તમને આના લેક્ચર્સ ગોઠવવાના છીએ. તો ફરી એકવાર તમારામાંથી કોઈને પણ કંઈ પ્રશ્ન હોય તો તમે પૂછી શકો છો. આપણી સાથે સાહેબ આવ્યા છે, એ કેમ્બ્રિજ તરફથી ખાસ આપણને આ બાબત સમજાવવામાં આવ્યા છે. બહુ સારી રીતે એમણે દરેક મુદ્દા પ્રેઝન્ટેશનમાં લીધા છે. નાનું બાળક ગુજરાતી કઈ રીતે શીખે ત્યારથી શરૂ કરીને હવે તમે ઇંગ્લિશ કેવી રીતે શીખશો એ એમણે સમજાવ્યું છે. તો પ્લીઝ તમારા પ્રશ્નો હોય તો પૂછો અને વધુમાં વધુ પાર્ટિસિપેશન આ કોર્સીસમાં થાય એવું આપ સૌ કરજો. થેન્ક યુ.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Saab, Sri Pandya ji. I think that's a mark of a true leader. I think he could communicate a lot more. So I should, next time when I come into Gujarat, maybe I should learn a little bit of Gujarati as well to kind of communicate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And now I would like to request Pandya sir for presenting a token of appreciation to our guest speaker, please.